I just hope I can actually get this bottle open without... Oh, I should show you guys the wine first. I don't know if you can see it. It's the Nederburg 2021 Merlot. Child, not you kicking the ring light. This is the only fully functioning, exclusively for opening wine bottles, bottle opener that we have in this house. Corkscrew. It is called a corkscrew, and you know that. No twist tops. This is the real deal. We have a cork now. So, all right. I need, and then you do this, and then it should just, yeah, it should just come on out. I got a bigger wine glass, so look at that pour. I'm hoping I can actually finish the story by golden hour because my skin looks amazing right now, and the sun is going down. And one thing about the sun in the mist, it may be beautiful while it's going down, but it happens very quickly.
That's what she said. That's what she said. That's what she said.
Oh, that's good. That is good. Das ist gut, Kinder. Das ist gut.
Give me love, not enough for you. Day or night, it's alright. You could just pull through slow wine. Take your time, put in work. I'ma put in work on you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Put in work on you. Ooh, ooh. I'ma put in work on you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Put in work on you. Ooh, ooh. I'ma put in work on you, baby.
Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time with me, welcome to the Love and Light family. My name is Enhle, but everybody calls me Minnie or Enhle. Yeah, I'm so happy to be back. It has been a very busy couple of months, and I know y'all are mad at me because I only uploaded one video last year. I know, but remember when I said this? No, if you follow me on other socials and stuff, like, you'll see that I've been doing things with my life that have had me busy. So yeah, a lot happened after that. It's been very busy, and I have not been ignoring this channel for no reason. There's always a reason, there will always be a reason, but one thing you can guarantee is I will always come back with story time for you guys. I know, you love me, I know. Today, I think I've already shown you what I'm drinking. My channel loves red wine. The wine was saved for you guys. So without trying to waste too much of your time, I want to tell you about something that has made me fairly notable in the last week. And that is... I know! Last week, Saturday, I won my first NAMA award. I'm here to tell you guys how that happened. I'm here to tell you what my first kind of like red carpet awards show experience was like. It's not my first ever awards show, but it's my first ever award show that's been nationally televised because it is a national award. So I'm here to tell you guys that story. So I hope you'll sit and bear with me while I get through it. So let me take you back to about September of last year, where my friend and director, hold on, I actually need to call him and ask him if I can say his name in my videos. Hi, I just wanted to ask, can I say your name in my YouTube video?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
You can say my name wherever.
Be very careful. I think I genuinely just ran out of airtime. Let me send him a voice note. But thank you. I just wanted to confirm that I could say your name. Say your name. Say your name. Okay, so this entire story takes place in... Honestly, it kind of started earlier, but there's things that happened that are not really relevant to the story, so I'm trying to keep it relevant. So this all started in September when my friend and the director and the conceptualizer, the king of the show, basically, Ane Unigwatidzo, decided to, because we'd already been hanging out and we'd worked together like twice before that already, because I only really went back into like stage acting in July of last year. So we had just finished one production, and then he says to me, hey, I'm building a show around these 3 amazing singers. And I was like, oh yeah, lol, can I be in it? Because I have FOMO. And he was like, listen, you can come watch it though. And I was like, okay, I get it, no problem. Because the thing is, I'm not going to force things. Yeah, I'm not going to force things. So I was like, okay, at least he now knows that if something comes up, I'm free to do the show. And as luck would have it, he was like, listen, we need a judge character, and it's gonna have to be you. However, after time, when we started doing rehearsals, he then says to me, okay, here's an opportunity for you to add 2 of your own songs into this show so that you can sing them. You will still be doing backing vocals, and there's going to be lines for you to learn. So I was like, okay. So I chose to do Tainted off of 7 the EP, and a new song that we had written based off of the show that we were in July, and we decided to call it, I'm calling it Remedy Melody. Okay, but yeah, so Anya's like, yeah, you can sing your songs in the show, it'll be a vibe. I'm like, I am down to clown. So at that point I was like, okay, vibes. Sounds like what? Sounds like a plan to me. We start rehearsals, we're doing the show, and I'm not gonna lie to you, for Heartbreak Mafia we were mostly focused on the music because the music needed to be tight. So it was very important that we had the harmonies tight, the melodies tight, the timing, the rhythm, all of it had to be good. And I think one of my favorite things about that show is there's so much original work in it, but there's still so many good songs that are classics that we brought in from other artists. So it's kind of like a mix of like a jukebox musical, jukebox, one of those types of musicals. But the fun part is a lot of the work is ours. And a lot of the songs that are in the show, even though they're original, they weren't necessarily written for the show. There's only a couple that were written for the show, like with the show in mind. So we do that run, and it went well, and we really enjoyed being a part of it. And part of like the conceptualizing of the characters was we kind of came up with our own names. Some of the characters already had names according to like how Annie had written it, but for people that kind of like were bought in, like myself, I came up with my own name. So I picked Judge Renee Stokes. Even in those silent moments where you're not saying anything, or you're not speaking, or you're not singing, you've still got to stay in character. You've got to stay in character. So we decided to do all of that work, and it was very much worthwhile because after that we got picked up by Mtambo Festival, and they had us do a run of the show, which was a lot of fun and went really well. Then after that we got picked up by Zika Festival, and if you follow me on my socials, you know that show were name dropped. The show was name dropped in The Guardian, child. The thing is, when we did the original run of the show at Rips, we ended up filming it. I wasn't really sure why we were filming it, but I was like, shit, maybe people want to keep the archives of it. Maybe people want to post it on YouTube or whatever. It'll be a vibe. I have no problem with being recorded. So it did get recorded, and then Ane was telling me that he was going to submit it for NAMA nomination. And I was like, wow. After he told me he was submitting it, I promise you I didn't think about it again. I didn't think about the submission again. I did not. In comes, I think, early February. I remember I was at the salon getting these braids done, and somebody from NAMA calls me to be like, oh, where did you guys have the show? So I told them, and then I texted Anya and I was like, yo, these guys called me. They asked me where the show was. I'm just surprised that they called me because I'm not even the director. And he was like, yeah, no, don't worry about it. Then I saw a post on Instagram about how nominations were going to be soon. So we did our NAMA submissions, and like I knew that the nominations were coming up, and I was like, honestly, I'll be happy if we get even one nomination. It'll be a vibe, right? The morning of nominations, let me tell you, I had slept in the AMs the day before. Insomnia. I hope nobody actually watches these videos and counts how many sips of wine I take, because why is it impossible for you to mind your own goddamn business? Why? I just remember hearing our cast group chat for Heartbreak Mafia just going off and going off and going off and going off. And at some point I was like, okay, let's see what's happening. And the first thing I did was I opened my notifications, And I'm seeing somebody messaging me being like, oh, congratulations on your nomination. This is so freaking amazing, blah, blah, blah. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Our show got nominated for an award. I opened the group chat, right? And obviously when you open a group chat, it takes you to the latest messages. And somebody was like, oh, nominations have started. And the first nomination that had come up was the one with my name on it. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What does this mean? Who got nominated? Me? What? How, Sway? How? We got nominated for 3 of the 4 theater awards. We got nominated for Outstanding Show, or Best Theater Production, which was for Heartbreak Mafia. We got nominated for Outstanding Director for Anne, and then we got nominated for Outstanding Actress for me. The only thing that was missing was an Outstanding Actor, and then we would have had a nomination in all 4 categories. But baby, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. 75% is still a pass, dog. But I was like, how am I nominated for this? Like, this is the first time they've ever seen me, the first time they've ever heard of me. And like the gravitas didn't hit until talking to certain people that kept putting out the fact that they watch all like artistic things, music videos, theatrical performances, they do spoken word, they do literature, they do visual arts, they do the whole shebang. And it's not just in Harare or Mashonaland. No, it's across the Miz. It's across the Miz. And each category has 3 nominees. Some have 4, but the majority have 3 nominees. So for me, I was like, how? How is it me? How am I a part of this? But I was geeking off the nomination, guys. I'm not going to lie to you, because I was like, no matter what I do in this life, it's always going to be nominated, baby. It's always going to be nominated. And I was like, okay, no, give it to the girls. Give it to the girls. I love this. So I'm not going to lie. I was just geeked off the nomination, and I didn't think about it for like a couple of, maybe like a week and a half. Then it started getting real when it started getting real when inside the Nama group chat, they're telling people, oh, come pick up your tickets, come pick up your invitation for the nominees reception, come pick up your red carpet passes, come pick up your VVIP tickets, come pick up your stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I went to, the thing is, I needed to go obviously before the show. So I ended up going to get my tickets the Tuesday before the show. I'm not gonna lie, it was at that moment where I started letting myself actually want this award. Like, I started letting myself actually want this award. Like, I was like, no, I want it. I don't like disappointment. I don't like to be let down. And it was one of those situations where I was like, I'm really scared to want this, because if I don't get it, I know I'm gonna be really disappointed in myself. And I had to constantly remind myself that a nomination is a huge freaking deal, which it is. It is a huge, huge deal. So that alone, that makes me legend status. I was like, if I don't get this award, I'm gonna be really disappointed in myself, and I just don't want to then like start a cycle of self-loathing that's gonna plunge me into depression, because already I was anxious. Okay, I was already like the most anxious I'd been in a long time, like feeling it in my gut, in my chest, couldn't think about anything else. So I get my outfits. It's now the Friday before the show, and we've got orientation as to how the award ceremony is gonna go. Then we've got the nominees reception. So I ended up hanging out with Anne and another nominee who's a friend of mine. We ended up hanging out for that day, and then going to the nominees reception at the Jameson. And basically what that reception is they give you a certificate that says that you were nominated for a NAMA. Nobody can ever take that away from you. Nobody can ever take that away from you. And for me, it was meeting celebrities, like meeting like real life celebrities, and not knowing they were celebrities, because honestly, I low-key live under a rock. And meeting them and having conversations with them and being like, oh, this person's so nice. And then Annie being like, yeah, that person's kind of famous. And I'm like, oh, lovely. Got home, sorted my entire life out for the next day, because we had to be at HICC by 5. They wanted us there by 5. They wanted red carpet done by 6. Well, 5:45, but they said 6 at the latest so that we could all be seated for the pre-show. I was like, I need to ensure that like I am ready to leave my house by 4:30 at the latest. So I barely slept that night. I think I fell asleep at maybe 5 a.m, 5:30 or so. I remember hearing birds and light coming through my curtains, so it was definitely early in the morning. And just thinking to myself, like, because I was so anxious, I could not sleep. And so I slept for a couple hours, woke up, and take a bath, start getting ready, start doing my makeup. And I'm so lucky because my person called me while I was doing my makeup, so I wasn't in my head, I was talking to them, and it was chef's kiss. I gave my extra ticket to my sister. We get there at like 5 o'clock exactly, and it is like full, and people are in like full head to toe glam evening gowns. There are no games being played on this carpet. So I was like, my sister's in heels at this point, and I'm like, okay, I don't want her to be like standing forever, so let's just do this red carpet very quickly, and then we'll go find our seats and sit down. Here's where people were trying to make me angry and make me act like I was ratchet. So we get passes for the red carpet, and we're waiting for the kind of like the assistants to give us the go ahead, right? Like the red carpet runners. We're waiting for them to give us the go ahead so we can walk the carpet and do the interview and be done with it. So we walk the carpet, we get our pictures taken, and then we move over to like the media side where they're supposed to be interviewing me. And behind me on the carpet was this group of people, maybe about 4 or 5 people. And so when they get to the media side, they decided they didn't want to have an interview. So they were like, we're just going to proceed to the inside. So the majority of the group see that I'm in the middle of an interview with this lady that was on the carpet with me. And they walk behind us, right? So as not to interrupt the flow of the interview. This one hand decides she's too important to walk behind us. So she walks in front of us, like in front of me and in front of the camera, which completely disrupts my interview. Because you know me, one thing about me, my face is gonna fucking talk. You know my face is gonna talk. I may not say what's on my mind, but this mug right here, it's gonna say what I'm thinking. So she walks in front of the camera, and I'm like, and so the interviewer brings me back, and she's like, oh yeah, I love your makeup. And so I'm like, so we finished the interview, and the red carpet kind of like aid assistant, the person that was getting us through the carpet, takes us to the end, and that lady and her group are in front of us. And so I'm now complaining to my sister and the red carpet aide, because the red carpet aide was like, oh, how was it? How was your first red carpet experience? I'm like, I wish it was better, because people don't have any fucking manners. I'm like, this woman just decided to cross in front of the camera like she doesn't have any decorum. And she heard me say it, and she looks at me and she's like, I was like, oh, okay. She saw me and thought whatever I was doing there wasn't of any importance, and because of her fucking privilege, she decided to walk in front of the camera. So I was like, okay, bitch, I got your goddamn number. I know what your type is. But for me, it's like, you have common sense and eyes that work. I'm assuming your eyes work because you're not wearing glasses. You have common sense and eyes that work. You can see 2 people talking and they're in front of a camera. What would possess you? What spirit would enter your heart for you to cross in front of the camera like that? Are you mad? Are you mad? But child, even I know not to freaking cross in front of a camera. It's just disrespectful. It's just so disrespectful. We were in VVIP as nominees and guests, but there was a middle section that was like for like, I think it was sponsors, governmental dignitaries, like the minister was sitting there, like everybody was like in different places, but that middle section was for the VVIPs. So she goes, like, we're about to enter like the VVIP section, and some man some Shauna man saw me and my sister behind this group of people about to enter the VVIP section, and he turns to the guy that was guarding the entrance of the VVIP section, and he's like, don't let anybody in here, check tickets, nobody who's not a VVIP should be sitting here. So I heard him saying that, and I was like, excuse me, as you can see by the VVIP tag on my wrist, I'm supposed to be here. I'm a nominee. Like, is this really how you guys treat your nominees and your people? Because, like, this is not acceptable. And he was like, oh, okay, nominees sit on that side. And I'm like, I should knock your asses out. That pissed me off. And I was now just not in the mood to be there anymore. It was like 5:30 and I was like, I want to go home. Like, I just want to go home. And my sister's like, you're going to miss winning your award. And quite frankly, when you do, I need you to get on stage and make eye contact with that woman. Make eye contact with that woman. And I was like, shit, I might. So yeah, we're sitting there. My friend comes with his mom. Annie comes with his mom. And we're all sitting. The pre-show started at 6:30. The show itself started at 7:45. So we were running a little bit behind time. But it was what it was. It was what it was. And let me tell you, the whole freaking time, I was so anxious and so stressed out. Because I was like, this is really it. This is it. This is the show. This is like where they're going to decide whether or not I'm going to get this award. And that for me, little stressful. Poquito. Just a little bit stressful. First of all, you're not even sure if you feel like you deserve the award. So the pre-show starts, and the thing is, the theatrical category was like, shit, 4th or 5th in the night. So there was a lot of stuff that we needed to get through before we got there. But it was fun. We were having a good time overall. And then they get to the theatrical section and my heart is here. My heart is here. Like, I was like, I'm gonna throw up. Every 2 seconds I was leaning over to my sister and I was like, I'm gonna throw up right now. And so they get to my section. They read out the nominees. Right? They read out the nominees, and then the guy is like, oh, and the winner is, opens the envelope. And like, in my head, I'm just like, oh my God. And then he just goes, Nguni. And I'm like, so we all kind of looked at each other and we were like, so I looked at him and I'm like, who? Because we're sitting close enough to the front of the stage that like they can see us and be able to talk to us as the presenters. So I'm like, who? And then he just looks at me and he's like, Nguni. Mind you, I had met this guy the day before. I'd met this guy the day before and I told him my name. And told him my name is Enhle. And if you can't say that, you can just call me Minnie. It's not a problem. Also, when they are announcing who the nominees are before they do, oh, and the winner is, you could hear the overhead presenter say my name and say it properly, mind you. So he was just like, Nguni, the second time. And I'm like, and he's like, and I was like, ah! So I'm like shook going on stage. And I think I just kind of went into autopilot. And they told us that your acceptance speech needs to be 45 seconds. So I'm going to insert my acceptance speech so that you can see what was said. Thank you to the friend of mine that recorded it. You are sorry, baby. You was sore.
She can't believe it.
My mom who couldn't be here tonight. I'm going to do my best to talk quickly because I promised her I wouldn't cry. I want to thank my sister who came with me. I want to thank so thank you so much for trusting me with this project. I want to thank the cast and crew of Heartbreak Mafia. Guys, we did it! And I want to thank my high school drama teacher, Mrs. Leggett, because without her I wouldn't be here. And I want to thank my grandmothers who are watching me from heaven. Thank you so much to the National Arts Council. that was my acceptance speech. And so I went through the back and like went through the back to the back of the stage. And when I got backstage, I'm like fully sobbing at this point because I just can't believe this has just happened. Like, I'm in complete disbelief that this has just happened. And as I'm walking back, like, people are congratulating me, giving me hugs, and I'm like, oh, this is so great. And so I get back to my seat, and I'm looking at my sister, and I'm like, did this just happen? Like, did this just happen? And she's like, yeah, baby, you did it, baby. Go, baby. And then texted my mom, and my mom is like, yeah, we know, we're watching. Because my mom was out of the country, so she'd been streaming it. And she's like, yeah, I know, we're watching. And I'm like, so let me tell you, the rest of the night was a breeze. I was like, oh, I was so nervous before, like going through, couldn't breathe, wanted to throw up every 2 seconds. Nah, the rest of the night was chinchilling, just having a good time. And then after that, there was the opportunity, there was like the offer to go to the after party, but I was like, nah, babes, I haven't slept properly in 48 hours. I'm going home. So the night before the awards show, there was a specific place in the living room where I put my certificate of nomination. And I looked at that spot and I was like, let me just clean it up because I'm going to be putting an award here tomorrow. And I was like, even if I'm being delusional and it doesn't happen, at least for a second I believed. And so I came home and put it in that spot and felt amazing. Just amazing. Like, so proud of myself. I know it's literally taken me a week to get my shit together, but I'm not gonna lie to you. First of all, I had to like fully just be like on do not disturb for 2 days after the awards show. So like Sunday and Monday, bro, your girl was in shambles. Not shambles in a bad way, but like sleeping a lot, not doing much, because I'd been so anxious before. It had taken so much of my strength out of me. So I really, really needed to rest. But here we are. It's been a week and I'm just, you think about it and you're like, what? Mad. It's mad to say these things out loud and know them as a fact. Child, is crazy. It's crazy. And there's a lot to be thankful for. There's a lot to be grateful for. And there's a lot on its way. Y'all are not even almost ready. I would love to sit down and like name all of the projects that I'm currently working on and all of the stuff that's like, all of the doors that have been opened because of this award. I would love to speak on them, but it's not the time yet. It's just not the time yet. What I can tell you is that Heartbreak Mafia is coming back. We are reassembling the Mafia for another show, for another run. So, if you would like to know more details about how to watch the show, if you're in Zim, of course, and even if you're not, and you just want to tell your friends in Zim to go watch it and film it for you, you can always do that. Please keep your eye on my social media, specifically my Instagram, because that's where I'll probably post about it the most. But please keep an eye on my socials to find out when and where the next show is going to be, because we are reassembling the Mafia and they're not ready for that shit. But yeah, today's price is not yesterday's price. And if I can just be honest, when I came home from university, I had no idea what I was trying to do with my life. I had no idea. And because of what I was going through in the middle of last year, going back to reps, I did it for my sanity. Because I felt like I'd lost every sense of my identity. And the only time that I can really think and remember feeling the most like myself is when I perform. So all of this good stuff was queued up and I didn't even know. I had no idea. It's just so crazy, but I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, and I don't plan on stopping or giving up momentum anytime soon. I thought I'd be a lot of things by 25, not a National Arts Merit Award winner. I couldn't have dreamed this. But here it is. We've got to keep doing what we're doing. We've got to keep doing the stuff that feeds our souls. We've got to keep believing in ourselves, believing in our craft, and believing in the things that we do. And baby, I was born to be an artist. This is who I am. Very clearly, this is who I am. So, yeah. Like, let me tell you one thing. I am on my way to EGOT status, child. I'm on my way. I think that is as best a story as I can give you right now. I will be trying to do another short wine and story time sometime soon, because, let me not lie, I was kind of procrastinating this just a little bit. But also being in front of the camera again feels really good. So we gonna have to do this shit again. And thank you so much for getting all the way through this video. Thank you so much for everybody that's sent me congratulatory messages and been so supportive. Like, let me tell you, y'all came out in your legions to root for me. And that means the world. It really does. And I will keep giving you things to root for, keep giving you things to be supportive of, because I don't take any of this for granted. I couldn't take any of this for granted. So yeah, that's about it from me. Thank you so much for getting through this video and watching it. Please do not forget to like, comment, and share. And if this is your first time on my channel, I hope you stay with us for a very long time and subscribe for the good vibes. Thank you for the love and support. I will continue to make you proud. Love and light, guys. Love you. Bye.
I'ma put in work on you, baby.
Because shit, and the thing is, is the label still on this glass? No, it is not. The label is gone.